Since this will be my second year diving into all things Eurovision for 2022, what was last year like compared to this year? Let's find out together. Roll titles. Good morning, afternoon, or even everybody. I am Jamie Jew and welcome back to a brand new video. Something a little bit different, but probably not all surprising considering many other people do it, but anyway. This time it is a video comparing all of last year's entries, or more to the point, all of last year's countries' entries for the 2021 Eurovision Song Contest, comparing it to this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Again, it's not a new thing, but hey, I'm here to make an opinion about it all, and hey, that's the beauty of my channel in general. Couple of things to note, this is of course all my own opinions about it all, so if you don't agree, you know what to do by now. Drop a comment below if you agree to disagree on it all. And of course I should point out it is comparing the 39 entries from last year's contest to just 39 years for this year's contest, because of course we didn't have Montenegro in 2020, now did we? But Montenegro and Armenia before I forget, so yeah. But let's begin first of all with Albania. Karma versus Secret. This one, if you ask me, is a bit of a no-brainer considering the elevated modern twist to given the this particular entry I do prefer compared to last year's, which was just a little bit too old-fashioned for me, or more to the point, too Eastern European for me to sort of get it and everything. Now it's all different tastes and all different cultures or anything else like that, but nevertheless, I'm giving this one to 2022 because I like that little bit more modern Western twist towards it. So, yeah, a no-brainer. First point to 2022. Next up, Australia. Again,
according to Wikipedia, Australia, officially the Commonwealth of Australia, is a sovereign transcontinental...
Alexa, shut up. Again, bit of a no-brainer one for me. As much as Montaigne tried her best with Technicolor, it's just not a comparison compared to Not the Same. So again, another one chalked off for 2022. It's 2-0 already. Wow. This could be domination. In fact, dare I say it could be domination with Austria, because again, another no-brainer with this one. Last year's was just... Whereas this year is... There may be a hello, oh, oh, oh. You get the idea. 3-0 to 2022. Azerbaijan, well, first point goes to 2021. I mean, that's a no-brainer because Azerbaijan's this year is just... Again, very forgettable. It's mishmashy stuff that's blogged into there, and it just makes everything forgettable as a result. Whereas last year's, you can easily recognise it. But right, move on. And now we have the first toughie in the form of Belgium, because I do like both of these entries. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. And of course, you got Am I gonna miss you now? Both similar beta, has to be said. And I can't really give any draws, by the way. This is one other thing to note. I'm not giving any draws. I'm just about going to give it to 2022. Simply because it's a bit more poppy, bit more BT. And last year's was, while decent, I don't think it's going to do as well as Belgium this year. It's definitely a good qualifier for me. Like I said, just ramp up just that little bit more. Bulgaria, well, as much as I do like rock songs, this rock song this year is just not that great, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Whereas, even though I wasn't that big of a fan of this particular song, it was still, by comparison of these two, better than 2022. So I'm giving this to 2021 with Victoria. Even though I do prefer not growing up as getting old, but that was alright. It's not a bad entry, and it did well actually in the contest itself. But I still prefer a 2020 song. 2021, you get another point. Croatia, this is another no-brainer actually. And 2021, you're closing up. It's 3-4 now. I mean, Guilty Pleasure's okay, but not great. Whereas, spare a thought for spare a massive thought for Albania. Unbelievable. Cyprus, another no-brainer actually, and now the scores are level. I feel love, I'll give my heart to El Diablo. Czech Republic, well, 2022, you're back in the lead again. 5-4, this one I think hopefully should qualify, but it's a nice little banger compared to last year, which was Actually, I've even forgotten what last year is, if I'm honest. Denmark, both mediocre entries, but this year's just that more mediocre. So we're back level again. It's 5-5. Whereas, I mean, last year it sounded like a Sonic Adventure kind of a bit of music. Estonia, another no-brainer, and 2022, you're back in the lead again. Topsy-turvy stuff all of a sudden. This year, I love Hope, and I hope it... Oh, no pun intended. I hope it does really well, whereas last year's with all them chains and everything... I mean, I still actually quite know it a little bit. I don't need a crystal ball to tell it. I mean, I don't know the lyrics, but I get the beat. Whereas this year's just a lot more memorable. Now, Finland. Finland. This is a toughie because both of these are in my numero uno for this year's competition. Well, they were last year and this year. They're both number one for me. So yeah, but as understanding of the two songs, forgetting each other bands, you know, what do you call it, experience, I'm gonna give it to 2021. So the scores are back level. I would say this one was just a bit more, whereas this year's one is just a bit more poppy, bit more contemporary. And as much as I do like it, and I will bounce up and down to it, I felt last year was just that bit more panache and everything else like that. So yeah, this is getting tight. 6 apiece. What's going to happen now? France! Well, as much as they did well last year, I wasn't that particular fan of it, whereas this year I am. So yes, 2022. Just when 2021 thought they were trying to close up a little bit more, 2021 keeps hold of the lead. Georgia! Ooh, that's an interesting one. Here's the thing. Last year's Georgia entry was a fan favourite for my mum. Like, she really liked this one, even though I did quite like it. It was not too bad, but I knew just it wasn't going to qualify whatsoever. So, I mean, this year's ain't going to qualify either, but it's just a matter of comparing the two of them together. But if I'm honest with you, I'd rather go for the circus one. Last year's was just that... Whilst he did try and like sort of elevate it with his raspy voice and everything, and all the rest of it, it just didn't come across that way. Whereas this year, you kind of get it. It's Circus Mercus. The package is there, and it's a bit of a better package compared to last year. So yeah, now 2022 builds up a 2-point lead. What's going to happen now? On to Germany. Well, in a nutshell, I don't feel hate for this year. And I'm only going for 2022 simply because of the live version from last year. Now, I know it's a bit of a not good thing to do considering we haven't got the actual Eurovision rendition of 2022 compared to 2021, but... you know, everything else just about was just a bit of a mess. I am taking it into account, which is probably a little bit annoying, but I am being honest, and I'm going to take Rockstars. I think Rockstars will just come across that little bit better on stage, and it's a bit more of a panache song anyway compared to... So the scores are 9-6, and yeah, 2022 is looking a bit better at the moment. On to Greece. Die Together versus Let's Dance. I'm not a big fan of Die Together this year, if I'm honest with you. Whereas even though I wasn't that much of a fan of Let's Dance to begin with, it elevated for me as I saw the progress of it all the way until the Eurovision stage itself. And I don't even know what staging they're going to do for this year's contest. So, on that basis, I'm going to give it just to 2021. Next up, Iceland. No brainer. 2021, of course it is. I mean, can't not love Davy Freya, can you? I mean, we did say this year's actor's got a lot to follow up on, and there you go. Another toughie though. 9-8 in favour of 2022. We come to Ireland. Ooh, whilst yes, there was that dodgy staging and everything else like that. This is another toughie one. It was a nice little upbeat number last year, but I'm going to give it to 2022 just about because at least you got a bit more choreography from the dancers and everything else like that. And even though I'm not a fan of dancers, I just feel you can understand this one a lot more for this year. And that's why I'm giving it to her. We're giving it to 2022. Plus, I like Brooke. She comes across really well. She seems very bubbly, very nice and everything. And yeah, good for her. Israel now. I mean, bit of a no-brainer. I'm giving it to last year. Set me free. Set me free. 10-9 to 2022. Next up, the hosts, Italy. Look, I do like this year's. I do like this year's a lot. But I'm kind of going for the stage. I'm kind of sort of imagining the staging for this year's competition for Italy to be virtually the same as that of from their national final in Sanremo. So on the basis of that, taking everything into account, taking it to dinner, having a nice drink and pour it down and go to the toilet with it afterwards, I'm going to give it to last year. I mean, come on. It's Måneskin. I like rock songs, and I was so elated to see it win last year. So I'm giving it to last year. So the scores, correct me if I'm wrong, are 10-10. Although I should probably catch back up, really, because I haven't made a scoreboard. Okay, just give me a minute, will you?
5 minutes later.
Got a scoreboard up, so now I know where virtually I am. Moving on to Latvia. I get last year's entry, but I prefer the quirkiness of this year's with Eat Your Salad. So yes, 2022. Still hotting up though. 2022 still holding on to a lead here. Next up is Lithuania. It's got to be the Whoop. Malta. Destiny, you deserve it. Moldova. Do you know what? Weirdly, I do like Sugar's song last year for Moldova. But I like Quirkiness a bit better, sorry. So scores as far as I'm aware, 12 all. Yeet. The Netherlands. Ooh. Nah, no brainer. This year. Ooh. Ha. Look, it was nice last year, but it still picked up no points, didn't it? So. North Macedonia. Now. This is one where, again, both entries are just... They're going to be forgettable, it seems. Do you know what? I'm going to give it to this year because for a little while I did like this year's entry. But then it sort of died off for me, whereas last year's I never got that. So, yeah, I'm giving it to this year. To Norway! Well, I loved last year's. But I love this year's even more, so yeah, you got to give them wolf bananas, or otherwise your grandma's going to get eaten. Poland, this year, obviously. Jeez Louise, I thought last year's was supposed to be the pinnacle of songs. Portugal, people keep telling me about the art form of this year, but I don't know whether I'm not getting it or anything, but nothing just tickling for me this year, whereas I loved last year, so, I mean, love is on their side after all. Romania, it's got to be last year because at least you got the sort of mysterious style of it all and the dark side of it all, whereas this year is trying to be all poppy and everything, but you know, it's been kind of generic and done there before, so I'm giving it to last year. San Marino, well, as much as again I do like this year's rock song, it can't beat a little bit of Adrenalina. So 2022 pulled away for a little bit, and now 2021 is starting to creep up again. Ooh, it's exciting stuff. Serbia. Well, Serbia, I mean, look, they come up with a fairly decent entry last year that a lot of people loved, but I wasn't necessarily in the same train, whereas this year, even though it is bizarre, I still prefer it because it's just that more artistically bizarre. And yes, I'm actually starting to grow on Serbia. I'm not gonna lie. This year is a bit of a grow for me. Slovenia. Last year's was boring. I'm sorry, but this year, as you got some beat, this year, obviously. Spain. Yeah, bit obvious, isn't it? Sweden. Another bit of an obvious one. That wouldn't be last year, it would be 2022 for sure. Don't get me wrong, I do like voices, it's not too bad. But this one is a winning vibe almost. Come on. Switzerland, as much as I do like Boys Do Cry this year, and I do really like it. To where you never Ukraine, Forgetting the current situation now, I'm basing this on the songs. I just have that feeling the staging this year is not going to be as good as last year's, which was epic. So yeah, I'm giving it to last year's because, yeah, there you go. And finally, United Kingdom. Oh, bless James Newman's heart last year. But yeah, even you and I know that this year is so much better than last year. So I'm giving it to this year. And we have our results. So even though 2021, by a lot of people's opinions and everything, that last year was arguably one of the best years for songs, could it be, by my opinion, this year's is slightly better? But again, it's just my opinion. And as always, never mind what I think of my opinion. Please do let me know what you think. Do you agree with me that 2022 songs overall are slightly better than last year's? Or are you of that of a different opinion? Please do let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, you know the drill by now. Smash the like button as good as hard as you can if you did like this video. Subscribe for more of my Eurovision juicy goodness leading all the way up to the main event itself. And of course, ring the bell to get notified about my latest videos if you're already subscribed. Let me know if you want me to do any more of these comparison sort of things. And if you want me to let me know of any other Eurovision ideas, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.